everybody, and welcome to Action and Adventure, the Hasbro Universe podcast. I'm your host, Daniel.
And I'm your other host, Callum.
Now, just for word of forewarning, at the top of this episode, I might sound a little different than I normally do. I have a different audio setup today than is normal. So if I sound a bit echoey, just roll with it. We do what we can with what we have, and because we're not going to let a little thing like technical difficulties get in the way of us bringing you a great show. And we have a great show for you today. Today we're going to be talking about ROM vs. Transformers Shining Armor number 2, a book that we were supposed to talk about last time, but due to errors, we essentially couldn't. We only had like a fraction of our conversation, and I didn't feel that fraction was worth putting out by itself. So we're gonna just talk about it this week.
Take two.
Yes.
Yeah, ROM vs. Shining Armor number 2.
Yes, because
ROM vs. Transformers Shining Armor number 2, not ROM vs. Shining Armor number 2, because that's not a thing.
That'd be with the My Little Pony character.
I was gonna say yes, that's a ROM.
After that, we have the Hasbro Heroes Sourcebook number 3, the final installment in the profile books. G.I. Joe number 8, the penultimate chapter of Aubrey Sitterson's run on G.I. Joe, until it gets relaunched with a new title, of course. And Optimus Prime number 10, which recaps the history of the 13 as they formed. And, of course, last but not least, Misfits Infinite number 2. The fourth part of the fourth part of the Gem and the Holograms Infinite crossover.
Yeah, I think you'll technically find that it's Gem and the Holograms, the Misfits Infinite number 2, because just one colon in a title is not enough. You've got to get a second colon in there.
No, it's Gem and the Holograms, the Misfits Infinite number 2, Infinite Part 4.
Oh, true. I will never understand why they did not just publish that series as, do it as a 6-issue miniseries. I assume there is some kind of weird, inconceivable marketing sales logic behind it. But although, I'm not going to complain, because if it was just a 6-issue mini, we probably wouldn't have gotten Jen back doing the Misfits interiors, which I love so much. But I'll talk about that later.
Yes, but before we talk about comics, today is Friday when we're recording this. Different from our usual Sunday, but it is also the first day of HasCon, the official Hasbro Expo, showcase, convention, conference, thingamajig. And most of the news coming out of that is toy news, admittedly, but we did get a huge announcement from IDW, who is currently there. And also, just as an aside, they apparently got this ROM cosplayer to go and be hanging out at the booth. And I'm a little jealous.
Great. I saw the photos on Twitter earlier. Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it?
It's so good. It's clearly Marvel ROM, but it's it's still so good.
Yeah. Same difference.
But we have a huge announcement. As we have known for quite a while now, Visionaries was the next title that was going to be coming out from IDW. But there was a certain comment that Mary Scott made that kind of confused us, because she said Visionaries would be set on Cybertron. Well, ladies and gentlemen and non-binary folks listening, we have the full story. Coming in December from IDW Publishing, Visionaries versus Transformers.
Well, or possibly Transformers versus Visionaries, depending on whether you believe kind of the text of the article or the covers. It's an interesting one. But
yes, that's true.
Yeah, Transformers versus Visionaries versus Transformers. Yeah,
yes.
It doesn't actually specify whether it's... Technically doesn't specify whether it's an ongoing or a miniseries, but I assume it's a miniseries.
We gotta assume, I expect this to be a 6 to 8 issue miniseries, quite frankly.
At 8,
sort of
that's kind of pushing into kind of maxi series to trade paperbacks territory there. But I would say 5. I would say maybe 5, 6 kind of thing, and then maybe they see about launching a Visionaries ongoing, depending on how it goes. I would assume is the logic.
Which I think is actually like probably the better option.
Smart, yeah.
You know, because we have had to do the consolidation of titles. I think that, you know, and also not shoehorning the Visionaries into First Strike as like a main thing, the way, say, like M.A.S.K, for instance. M.A.S.K spun out of the Revolution event. Like, they were introduced in there and they were primary characters. But let's face it, if they had tried to do the Visionaries the same way and like put them in First Strike as principal characters, that I think would have made First Strike too complicated. So I'm glad that you know, I still think Visionaries is going to, you know, like this, like the events of this series are going to, you know, be the fallout of First Strike, but it's like at best the Visionaries will probably show up at issue 6, like at the end as, hey, give us back our talisman, because I think I've predicted the plot pretty well, personally. I don't remember if this was the last episode or if it was the bonus episode that hasn't come out yet, but I have shared my Visionaries prediction of what Visionaries would entail, and this seems to have confirmed that, but we'll get into that.
So kind of in this was through the AV Club, and I assume because IDW has a kind of Hasbro Universe panel tomorrow at HasCon, so I guess they will potentially talk about it some more there. But yeah, for now, this announcement has come via the AV Club's website.
Yes, and I should say you know, just because we are recording this early, so we won't get the chance to talk about any developments later. If any developments do come out before the Tuesday when this is released, I'll probably interrupt, you know, like future me will just interrupt this podcast and report on those, like from the editing bay. So anyways, Callum, continue.
So we got in this article not really much in the way of plot detail. We didn't get sort of advanced solicit text or anything. There's kind of a couple of quotes from Mags and Fico sort of talking about how they've enjoyed doing and stuff, but nothing in the way of plot. But we do get 3 covers: an A cover by Fico Ossio, a B cover by Andrew Griffith, and a retailer incentive cover B by Angel Hernandez. And all very nice. But then sort of the kind of your meat and potatoes of the article looks like pretty much going to be the entire Visionaries cast of the series, kind of character sheet, model design thingies by Fico Ossio, and oh my god, kind of dabbing my forehead here, like, oh gosh.
Same. They're so pretty, and man, like, can I just say, I wish we had seen these designs when we were talking in the bonus episode, you know, because this would have been such a great thing to reference. So, let's just go in order of how they are posted on allspark.com, you know, since, go check out allspark.com because they're our host and they're great and I love them.
I was careful to put these character models in an order that made sense. I think is it the same order as on the as on the AV Club? I'm not sure, but it got this way. It goes from Spectral Knights to the bad guys that I don't remember what their team name is.
They are the Darkling Lords.
Ooh, that's a name, isn't it?
Yeah. See, now I feel like I really do need to like start watching, like do what I did with M.A.S.K and start watching the Visionaries cartoon.
Visionaries is at least like Sumbo Marvel production, so I assume it's going to be halfway decent, unlike other cartoons.
But let's go through these designs. So. And like we said, you know, you can find all these designs on allspark.com, and you can go through them with us and see them for yourselves. So first off, Leoric. One of the big things is he does have a race change. He is no longer Burt Reynolds.
Oh,
he is.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love this design. Like we get to see him both armored and not armored, but and I love the way they have drawn. Like Fico drew his face to sort of have that lion quality about it, like with the mutton chops forming the mane.
Yeah, it's very kind of it's very clever kind of design work in that sort of he's not literally like a cat person, but he sort of he evokes a lion in a sort of subtle way.
Yeah, well, he's like it's down to like his nose. Like his nose comes to this very squat kind of thing that he's not a lion. He's not a cat man. He's not like a Thundercat or something. But he has these like, but it definitely evokes the look of a lion, and he's also got like what I assume is some sort of war paint or something.
Yeah, a few of them have got that sort of tattoos or sort of war paint or something.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then we also get. And that's the thing. And then they have sort of two forms. They have sort of their unarmored forms, which is like, has these cool cloaks and all that. And then they have their armored forms. And the armor it's very different from the original show, but like really nice. I really like the armor.
Yeah, it kind of, well, it looks less kind of, well, I mean, it's basically less silly. It looks like kind of actual armor, something like a person actually might wear.
See, I would almost give the 80s Visionaries, like, they're almost Toku-esque, Tokusatsu.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Kind of.
Big, blocky, like, chess pieces and the helmets and all that. And this is more, more... sci-fi kind of armor, sci-fi magic armor. Yeah,
it feels more sort of like fantasy inspired. Like they don't have just plate armor over their entire body. They've got sort of clothes. Kind of.
Yeah, I'm thinking of. I'm trying to think of like a good comparison. Sort of, almost Dungeons and Dragons, like I'd say. Kind
of. Yeah, it leans more to sort of like barbarian-y sort of aesthetics, the natural kind of like kind of knight's armor kind of look.
And the really interesting thing about Leorix is, rather than having his lion on the staff, it looks to be a shield, like that he also has like on his back in his unarmored form. So I'm interested to see, what goes with, how that works out for the other characters.
Yeah, I assume probably I would guess that they're probably just going to change the staff things into shields across the board because like.
Although there is that Andrew Griffith cover.
Oh wait, hang on. Yeah. Actually, maybe they transform.
Yeah, that's.
Hang on, wait. Did the article mention? Oh, I could have sworn now thinking about it, the article text mentioned something about. Maybe I was imagining it, but I wonder if maybe they kind of transform from shields into a sort of staff thing.
Yeah,
because I don't know, the staffs do look a bit silly sometimes, like they've gone to sort of a protest, but just instead of a slogan, they've just got like a drawing of an animal on it for some reason.
Yeah.
But I also noticed that Leoric has kind of pointy ears, so kind of probably not a human from Earth, definitely then.
Oh no, definitely not. I am sticking with my prediction of they are Prismosians who are coming to Cybertron to take the talisman back.
Yeah, it kind of that feels pretty likely at this point.
Yeah. I mean these designs are very alien in nature. So I'm sticking with my prediction as far as that goes.
We've just noticed now, looking at it, that kind of when Leoric goes from his kind of casual look to his armored form, kind of he gets little kind of Tron lines appearing along his kind of black jumpsuit he has kind of under all the armor. That's neat.
Yeah. Let's see. And we also like I really like the helmet. You know, because it takes sort of, because let's face it, Leoric's original helmet was kind of blocky and kind of doofy. This takes it and like spikes it and gives it like a face mask and all that, and I really like it. Yeah, and I like his energy whip.
Could be cooler. And the whip looks nice.
Yeah, the whip looks so cool. I can't remember if original Leoric had just had a whip or had an energy whip, but I like the whip. It's so cool. And I really like that. Like, just in general, I like the idea of the leader having a different weapon than, like, a sword. I feel like in every team of fantasy stuff, like Power Rangers, Bionicle, like, what have you, the leader always has a sword. So it's like, I like that the leader has something different. You know?
Yeah, no, I hadn't really thought about that, but yeah, that is a good point. It's neat.
Yeah. So let's see, next up. Oh, and also, one of the things that's hinted at in the article, like, it's not really stated super clearly, but apparently the Visionaries are going to be able to transform into their animal forms.
Oh, yeah, I think that's the thing from the original cartoon, I believe.
Oh, really?
They transform into the thing that's on their chest totem.
Oh, I thought they just, like summoned, like they just summoned them, like as spirit, like...
Oh, I don't know. This is based on me skim reading the Wikipedia article, but I could have sworn it said something about them actually turning into their totem animal.
Here, let me find. I don't know. I don't know. Let's let our audience correct us. You know, decide who's right. So, any Visionaries fans, let us know who's right. But yes, that is, and I really like the lion form. Like, it's an alien. Like, it's not just an Earth lion. It's like a very alien lion with like tusks coming out of it. And all that.
Spikes and kind of a big fluffy tail, and it's deliberately designed to be sort of an alien beast which sort of resembles a lion, which I guess is a sort of a nice solution to instead of having there are Earth animals on this planet for some reason. I mean, granted, you've still got there are basically humans on this planet, but still.
I mean, I think if there's one thing that all of science fiction has shown us, it's that evolution doesn't go too differently from that on Earth. There's a pretty common path that most things, most intelligent species have 2 legs and 2 arms, and a brain stem and a spine and all that.
I think, was it on the Allspark I posted the other day, but I was suggesting that, could the Prismosians be sort of ancient aliens to both Cybertron and Earth? Thus explaining why Cybertronians and humans have both got 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, kind of thing.
Yeah, like the talisman could be like... Could be like...
Of a relic they left behind on Cybertron,
Yeah. Which would then be really interesting to see what happens with Onyx Prime in that regard, because part of Onyx's thing is that the beasts the beast formers were not respected. But it's like, no, this is, like, that'll be interesting how that plays out. But anyways, let's keep going.
So next one, first up, we've got Hanzo from Overwatch. No, it's Arzon.
Yes, Arzon, who is, like, I have the Wikipedia article up. So he's the guy with the eagle, and all that, that's another thing is their armor also does reflect their animals. Like Leoric's had sort of a fur kind of lining that continued the mane thing from the lion, and he's got like feathers on his cloak, and I really dig that.
Yeah, and sort of the chest plate is sort of a bird face as well, with kind of a beak going down the middle. It's very cool.
Yeah, and he's got some sort of four bladed axe or hammer.
Yeah,
or something.
Sort of. I've seen the kind of thing, sort of like sort of a mace, sort of a weird axe, kind of.
Yeah, Then there is Witterquick, which, first off, I like the name, Witterquick.
Yeah, it's...
who at first, you say, Arzon's Hanzo, Witterquick, honestly, kind of, his mask gives me a Genji vibe.
Well, yeah.
So,
he's the monkey guy, I think, peering at his little chest thing, right?
No, he's originally the cheetah.
Oh, okay, no, I should look at this image at a larger size. Okay, yeah, no, that's clearly not a monkey. Yeah, cheetah.
So yeah, he's the guy in red, and I just have to say, the red guy has the super fast animal.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, huh. He even has crackly lightning around his legs.
It's like, what is it about, like, red, and super speed?
Well, man, actually, zooming in on Witterquick's legs, I've just noticed that next to him, Arzon has open-toed boots. Kind of fully enclosed armored boots, just with open toes.
But no, that makes sense if he's going to be turning into a hawk or an eagle.
Yeah, talons, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually clever. I like that. Next up, we have Ektar, who is the fox, according to...
Oh, okay. No, see, I'm just guessing at these based on their totems.
Yeah, and he has a foxtail around his cape.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He has some, like, claw weapons. And I will say one thing is blue is definitely a very overused color scheme on these guys, because Leoric is blue and teal, Arzon is blue and the lighter shade of blue, and Ektar is now white and blue, and it's like so,
well, yeah.
But yeah,
he looks a bit like Blackrock, I think. It's the sort of
he has the same hair.
It's the shaved sides, I think, of his hair.
Yeah. It's the I can't remember what that hairstyle is called, but yeah, it's
no.
And I also like how, like, a lot of, like, the armor is very different for each of the characters.
Oh yeah.
Like that thing. Like Witterquick doesn't have, like, very stripped down, very minimalist. Because he's got to run. He's a speedster. Ektar has like different, like, straps and all that, and pouches and all that, which works for him.
Yes. Lots of kind of asymmetry as well, which I like.
Yeah, and I like that the panel, the big panels on their chests have moved to just sort of like on one of their breasts. I like that.
Yeah. And who's next? Galadriel, and then Reekon, who I think is the first of the Darkling Lords in this list. And what the hell is her weapon? It's like a big thing.
It's like a three-bladed dagger, three-bladed, or it's like maybe it's like a trident or something. I don't know.
Oh,
she's
yeah, it's kind of like a trident, isn't it? Yeah.
Which works because she's a dolphin. Duh.
Oh, yeah. I see.
Yeah. Okay. Again, a lot of blue. Like,
yeah.
Like, and again, I don't know. I can't recall. Like, I'm looking it up now, but like I will say this. That's the one big. That's probably my biggest problem with this cast. It's just so much blue, and maybe they were all blue. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, they were mostly blue in the show, but that just seems like bad color balance, quite frankly.
Yeah. It's
and also she kind of gets gypped with the helmet. Quite frankly, it's just like a little crown piece, which. It's kind of lame, quite frankly. But
it's a bit odd, kind of. When basically everyone else has kind of proper helmets. Well, actually, no. Witterquick's just got a mask.
Okay,
but
yeah, true. But yeah,
it's not high on the sort of like scale of like how much this would actually protect you as a helmet.
Yeah. But yeah, and one thing I will say, I'll go ahead and head off this, is I think Broadside on Allspark brought up an excellent point of there's only one girl on each team.
Yeah.
Bit of a missed opportunity there, is all,
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where sort of like nobody would have cared if you turned one or two of the other characters female, right?
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe they'll do that with like Cryotech or something.
But actually, I forgot that name was originally from Visionaries. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I was actually kind of surprised that there was no like Cryotech and Feral are the only knights. That's the thing. They're kind of doing what happened with M.A.S.K. They're like consolidating and sort of going to fewer team members. So Cryotech and who had the bear and Feral who had the wolf are out for now, at least.
We haven't seen the main bad guy either, have we? What's his name?
True. So they could still be coming.
Got Wikipedia page.
Darkstorm.
Darkstorm. That's it.
Darkstorm. Actually, wait. Do we not? Hold up.
No, yeah, he's not among characters.
I was. Hold on, I gotta.
So yeah, next to Galadriel we have Reekon, who, well, I was gonna say I find that color scheme really familiar. It's because it's Beast Hunter's Laserback has basically that exact color scheme: red, and orange, yellow, and purple.
Holy crap! You're right.
I want to say, I don't remember the name of it, but there's like a 3-headed thing from like RID. Is it called like Bruticus or something?
Yeah, RID Bruticus.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, Predacon 3-headed dog. No, that is a. Okay, there's a universe version that is red and yellow and purple, but yeah, it's a nice color scheme.
Yeah,
and Reekon pulls it off well, and he appears to be a gorilla guy. I'm sure I haven't gotten this one wrong. That's definitely a gorilla on his thing.
Well, this might be, like I said, this might be a M.A.S.K. thing, but in the original, he was a lizard.
Oh, okay, right. That's definitely been changed then, because like that's not a lizard. I feel confident in kind of making that call. That's not a lizard.
Yeah. Yeah, that's. I think we might have a bit of a M.A.S.K. What happened with the helmets. Yeah.
And actually, speaking of helmets, Reekon's helmet is quite cool. I like that with a sort of like ridiculous. It does the kind of thing where you've got the bit coming down the middle in front of the nose, but then takes it all the way down to the chin, and like it looks kind of stupid, but at the same time I kind of really like it.
Yeah,
it's cool. Oh, I've just also noticed he has kind of a scar going right across the kind of bridge of his nose and extending down into his beard. That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I will say this. He definitely has the design more of Cindarr, who is the guy with the bear or with the gorilla originally. So, who knows?
Let me Google image search that person. Oh wow, yeah, like it totally is. Like that's basically his helmet design, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's curious.
That is curious. But yeah, continuing on, we have Lexor, who is who's apparently he's the armadillo, and he is apparently one of the few guys that gets to retain the shoulder pads from the original.
Yeah, like I appreciate some big like silly costume things, like big silly hats, big silly shoulder pads. So I'm into that. Yeah. And then like, what's his weapon? It's like a double-ended crowbar. It's cool.
What's that thing that ninjas use? It's like the reaping. It's like it was like a and then it like propels. What's the word?
Ring any bells?
There's a word. Michelangelo's nunchucks were changed into them in the newest TMNT.
What? Well, there's a chain in the middle.
Yeah, there's like a chain.
But it's kind of extendy. Oh no, with you mean with the hooks? Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, I guess it could be, though that might split. It's kind of an odd looking thing.
Yeah, it's like a kusari. That's what it's called. Yeah. He definitely has an interesting weapon.
And cool hair.
Yes.
Both facial and otherwise.
Yeah, he's rocking that facial hair. I like it. I like his mask too, his helmet. Like,
cool. Nice.
Yeah. Then lastly we have, Kravex, who had
dragon.
Well, yeah. Well, the Wikipedia article describes it as a phylot, which it describes as a pterodactyl-like scavenging creature on the planet Prismos.
I see.
Some sort of flying reptile thing.
So basically a dragon. I'm counting that one as a win.
Okay. And he kind of has a Snake Eyes thing going on with his.
Oh yeah.
With his visor. Yeah. So yeah. Next up we have what's her name? Virulina.
Virulina.
Yeah.
I'd need to watch the cartoon to know how you're supposed to pronounce it. Yeah. She's pretty cool. Actually, she's one of the ones where we get to see their sort of casual look as well as their armored look.
See,
both are pretty cool.
I'm going to be honest. At first, I saw her totem and thought it was a manta. And I immediately thought, wait, are they making Vanessa Warfield Virulina? You must admit.
I can kind of see it. Yeah.
Similar fashion, color schemes, manta. It all connects. But yeah, Virulina is just, she's the one that we've honestly gotten the most looks at because she's on the two of the covers, with her taking out Ironhide in one, and yeah, so she.
But actually, judging by Max's Twitter as well, she may be sort of. It seems like she might have a reasonably kind of lead villain role.
Okay. All right. So that might be it. They might be replacing Darkstorm with Virulina.
Possibly.
I would not be opposed to that.
Tweet. Here we go. Virulina is absolutely one of my all-time favorite characters to write. Trick is to write both a cackling maniacal villain and someone with totally understandable motives.
Yeah.
So maybe she is a lead villain.
Which that is at least one of those things where if they're not gonna do more than one woman, at least on each team, at least upgrading the role of at least one of those women is to being a main villain is definitely a plus. And I love this design. I cannot wait to see it in action. Yeah. So, and then lastly we have Merklin.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming he's Merklin. He's not labelled at all, but the colours of his clothes kind of match up, and I can't think who else it would be.
And the fact that he doesn't have a symbol, a totem.
He's not he's not a knight of the magical light.
Yeah, I mean, his costumes certainly resemble it certainly gives when you think about what these characters are, knights and a wizard. He's definitely the most wizardy of them.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're in the wrong with that assumption. So,
he's kind of traded out a great big beard for sort of a blue face.
Yeah, I mean,
he's got them. I noticed that. Yeah, kind of. I think Leoric has kind of a little point on his ears, but then everyone else basically has normal ears. But then Merklin has full-on sort of proper pointy elf ears, and I do find myself wondering, like, what's the deal there?
Do they though? Because Viralina has something covering her ear, but it ends at a point.
It's kind of hard to see. Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely covering the top of her ear, so it could go either way. But like, if there is something like there, and who knows, there could be something there. Maybe the ones with the pointy ears are the most powerful Prismosians or something. That seems to me like it's going to be a plot point. And
actually, peering at some of these, a couple more of them do look like they might have pointy ears, but yeah, some of them definitely don't. So there's something going on with ears.
Yeah, ears might be important to the plot. I don't know. Maybe ears are how you channel magic or something. I don't know. But
I do like Merlin's hat. It's kind of it's his sort of bangly things.
Yeah, it's some sort of like headdress or something, like some sort of wizard headdress or something. It definitely. And what's interesting though is based on the covers, like we have Viralina attacking Ironhide, and then we have Merklin looking at the remains of Ironhide. So who knows, like, sort of what side he's going to be on, and I don't know. Maybe that was his thing in the original cartoon. Like I said, we'll still have to watch it. Who knows? Maybe that'll even be a bonus episode where we'll watch the first episode and give our thoughts on the Visionaries cartoon or something.
I think, and again, this is me sort of remembering skim reading the Wikipedia article, but I want to say sort of, I think the opening episode, whatever, is about him like holding some kind of like contest or challenge, which ends up bestowing all of the sort of good guys and bad guys with their like magical stuff. So I think possibly he may be sort of vaguely neutral. I don't know, but I can't speak with any real authority on that matter.
Yeah. So, but overall, Visionaries looks so cool, and they're Transformers versus Visionaries. Also, can I just say, love the logo. Like,
it's very cool, isn't it?
Like, it's sort of similar to the like original Visionaries logo, but it's sort of like skewed, and it's brilliant. I love it. It's great. And then the fact that they did Transformers in the same way, in the same style, it's like I like. So, admittedly, I could do without the whole Visionaries Transformers things on the bottom, but we'll see if those are actually printed, or we'll see what happens with that. Any other comments?
And I think I said my piece. I think on Visionaries looks very cool. Pretty excited for it. I await the full solicits so we get some plot info.
Yes. This will definitely be if any new developments are revealed, future Daniel will pop in and put them right here. Sorry to interrupt, but after we recorded this episode, we did have a few more news announcements that I wanted to go ahead and briefly touch on, and which me and Callum will touch on even further in the next episode, where we'll actually have our discussion about, this news and sort of our thoughts on it. The first piece of news is that what was previously announced as G.I. Joe Unmasked is now getting renamed as Scarlet's Strike Force. This will still be the book that Aubrey Sitterson is writing, along with art by Nelson Daniel, and of course will feature the character of Matt Tracker joining the G.I. Joe team officially. Now, we also got a few tidbits about sort of what the plot is going to be. It does kind of spoil what happens in G.I. Joe number 9, and as such, I'm not going to mention what specifically, but needless to say, Cobra will be coming back as the villains, along with some new Serpentine Vipers, which we've gotten to see the designs for, and I like them, kinda, sorta. I have mixed feelings on them, really, but we'll talk about that more later. And we also got the hint that the Intruder is from the old Adventure Team toy line is going to be coming back in this new series. I have a lot of thoughts on that, but again, I will save those for next time. But yeah, we also got some new concept art from HasCon about Unicron joining the finally being introduced into this universe. And they did confirm that this will be the third Hasbro Universe event, so it will not only feature the Transformers, but also ROM, Micronauts, M.A.S.K, G.I. Joe, and presumably the Visionaries as well, coming together to fight the massive threat that is Unicron. So, yeah, we will talk more in depth about this in the next episode when me and Callum can actually, get together and talk about this. But I wanted to go ahead and mention this stuff now. And without further ado, I resume you back to the discussion. Thanks, Future Daniel. Let's move on to some comics.
Yes, let's. So, as we said, we are starting off with, ROM versus Transformers Shining Armor number 2, which I said right that time, because we missed it last time. And so, it's a really good issue. A second very good issue in what is so far a very good miniseries. We get...
it's one of those things, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but this is definitely a great issue. This continues this flips... this very much flips what happened in the first issue, because the first issue was very ROM heavy. This issue is very Transformers heavy. And I think that's good for this crossover book, because I know a few people who are complaining that the last issue was too much ROM. So it's like now this it's narrated by Bumblebee. We see more Transformers and all that. So it's it's good to sort of have that flip back and forth. Yeah,
it all makes sense from sort of a storytelling perspective as well. It's not like a forced kind of feeling change or anything. It all works very nicely, and we kind of rewind a little bit at the start, so we find out how B and Ultra Magnus got there, and then we go into the main event with the really cool
and how Starscream and the Dire Wraiths got aligned. And that's another thing I want to say is Alex Milne had, showed on More Than Meets the Eye that he can draw aliens really well in addition to robots. But man, he him being allowed to draw the Dire Wraiths is a gold mine for him. Especially when we get to the Transformer, when the Dire Wraith, when we finally see what happens when a Dire Wraith takes over a Cybertronian, and it's just it's like this Geiger-esque chaos. It's horrifying and amazing at the same time.
I'm trying to think of kind of a Transformers artist who would be better suited to doing a series with a bunch of organic aliens like this, and I don't think I can think of one. Sort of Milne is very much kind of in his element, doing all these sort of tentacly, sort of spiky monsters, and it pays off fantastically.
Callum, is there anything else you wanted to say about the book?
It's just really consistently high quality. Well, it's 2 issues so far, so I mean, maybe it won't stick the landing, but I don't worry too much about that. But just of the 2 issues we've seen so far, it's been just a consistently really high quality, both in the writing and the art and everything. And just I think kind of probably once this series is all said and done, this is going to be kind of one of kind of the Transformers miniseries, in the same way that kind of Last Stand of the Wreckers is kind of a miniseries that you can
certainly
kind of a mini that you can take someone who hasn't maybe been reading IDW before at all, say, look, go read this, it's really good, it's a standalone story, you don't need to know anything else to understand it, and just you can go off and have a good time with it. It's just a solid tight standalone story, and I think, well, fingers crossed, I think this is going to end up being, a really lovely little sort of tight kind of story that, a story that uses the shared universe really well. Because, I guess this is kind of the first example of sort of a self-contained story almost.
Yeah, it's sort of the first
elements,
Yeah, it's sort of the first, it's the first crossover that's not necessarily a crossover event. Like,
yeah, kind of.
yeah.
Well, you've got kind of like Wrath of Kaza, but kind of that's part of a bigger story about the Micronauts. It's the final part. It's a Micronauts finale. Like, this is kind of its own thing. It's, kind of, it's self-contained.
Yeah, I mean,
do like
this is billed as ROM versus Transformers. Micronauts Wrath of Kaza is Micronauts with some cameos. I definitely think that this is a great book for ROM fans. It's a great book for Transformers fans, and I'm also glad to see the reception, the positive reception that this book has gotten. Like, because I'll go on Twitter or Tumblr and sort of see what people, like, what the general public is saying. Outside of just my band of the people I follow on Twitter, who are all pretty much love the shared universe. And this is definitely getting a lot of warm receptions, even from people who hate crossovers. And it's like the fact that's happening it warms my heart as a fan of both of these properties to see that is that it's getting such love. And
it's, I think, I don't remember if I said this when we were talking about the first issue or not. I probably did, but I think, as well as him being suited to sort of it as a story, kind of having Alex Milne on this has also been a really canny move, in that it has gotten a bunch of people who would probably not have otherwise had any interest in a ROM versus Transformers story to go check it out, and they've come for the Milne art and stayed for it actually being a very good story, and that's it's nice to see.
It's definitely a good thing. Oh, and one last thing. We talked about this briefly the last time, but I think it was lost. So, Magnus. Let's talk about Magnus.
Yeah.
I don't still think it's Minimus.
I don't. Yeah.
So there you go. We'll see. We shall see.
Who will be proved right? Tune in. No, probably not next time. I don't think the next issue is due out by then. But yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Episode 11 is when it's currently scheduled for. I have every episode up to episode 15 written down, like what will happen.
I would not be trusting the release dates that far.
I fix it. I have to fix it every week, but still I have it.
Yeah. I mean, it is alarming. Currently it looks like the episode after next could have
episode 11 is going to be
10. Yeah, could have 10 comics, which is just ridiculous, and I'm not sure if that's actually feasible, and whether that might have to be 2 weekly episodes. But yeah, we'll see how those comics actually end up getting released. Yeah. But yeah, back to the point. Yeah, I don't think it's Minimus. I think he's just died, whoever this Magnus is, because that's weird. It would be super weird if Minimus would be acting like that, and I know there's kind of. I've not gone back and actually looked at the dialogue, but I don't think the dialogue that everyone was quoting actually 100% concrete says Minimus was the longest serving Magnus, right? Just that Ratchet knew him the longest. So that's a get out. That's fine. Yeah. I don't think it's him.
Yeah. We'll see. It, like I said, I feel like Minimus is it's at least been implied that Minimus has been around far longer than 200 years. So it just to me seems like should be longer, but you know.
Yeah, it would still mean that Minimus would be Magnus, so basically kind of all of the stuff we've seen Ultra Magnus do, other than the Autocracy trilogy, but So it would still keep him firmly as kind of the IDW Ultra Magnus. But yeah, we'll see. And in a future episode, one of us gets to kind of laugh at the other and say, "I told you so." We'll find out who's.
Yeah.
So next, I guess let's move on to Hasbro Heroes Sourcebook number 3, which is the third and final part of the Sourcebook series.
Yes. Now, this one doesn't include a story like all the others do because of delays. because at least what we think, like, it's a reasonable deduction. Doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to figure it out.
I think if you take into account the letter from David Marriott, it's a guarantee from the way he describes the story. I
mean, the fact that it says Garrison Krieger, Blitzwing, Miles Mayhem, and General Joe Colton. Basically, the story that was originally intended for Hasbro Heroes Sourcebook number 3 ended up getting released as First Strike number 0, and that explains where First Strike number 0 came. Because, that was weird. Yeah.
Well, it literally appeared out of nowhere one day. It hadn't been on.
They announced it a week before it came out. Yeah, and that's the thing. They couldn't even solicit it through Diamond. They had to ship it themselves, like IDW did, and all that.
Oh yeah, it was that last minute that literally it had never been solicited. They literally just said, "Oh yeah, we're shipping this next week," kind of thing. And it was sent directly to comic retailers and was on their website for I think a week before it turned up on kind of Comixology and stuff. So it was very much a last minute thing, and was clearly now in hindsight because they realised, oh crap, wait, the Sourcebook 3 isn't going to come out until well after the First Strike has started. We better get this prequel story out fast.
Yes.
So
let's go through some of the profiles that we want to highlight. Some of these were, the first one I want to highlight is, of course, my boy, Rom.
Rom.
Rom is an interesting case because he got a profile back in Revolution number 2, I want to say.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was this. They have since updated it because part of the original profile was Rom, last name unknown, and known relatives, none. And it really basically just recapped the events of his series after he crashed on Earth. However, since then, we have gotten the annual issue, which filled in Rom's history. So this now goes into all of Rom's backstory, and I really like that. It sort of goes into how he met Livia and Phi La. It mentions his, all of his it sort of mentions his history growing up with, his relatives and all that, and it's really cool. I'm glad that they did update that, from the original.
I don't think certainly not all of the kind of Revolution ones got updated, but it's nice that they Rom certainly where we got his whole backstory since then. That's nice.
Yeah.
And a few of these as well are kind of ones that we saw kind of in very cut down form on the trading cards from that Humble Bundle. Rock and Rolls was one of them.
Yeah.
Which I do like the Rock and Rolls kind of, which does establish that before joining G.I. Joe he was a roadie for the holograms. Which I guess means that kind of in the main Hasbro universe the holograms must all be about kind of 10 years or so older.
Yeah, they're in their 30s or something at this point.
Well, because it's been over 10 years in universe since G.I. Joe was founded. So if they were up and coming back before then, so they were kind of up and coming in the early noughties. And now I'm just imagining the holograms as sort of early noughties pop stars.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and because Rock was one of the he was in Origins.
He's a kind of a founder.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I have some G.I. Joe context now. I can draw upon. It's great. Another one that I want to highlight is Salmon's.
Oh yeah!
Holy crap! I did not expect this. Okay, so Terrence Salmon's, and I love that the Action Man cast is in here. If we didn't get those, that'd be very disappointing. But apparently Terrence Salmon's has tangled with Triple I from Transformers. And if you don't know Triple I, well, quite frankly, you should know them because they were led, well, quote-unquote, led by the one, the only, Donnie Finkelberg, the Robot Master. who apparently in the IDW continuity was an actual evil villain and not just a comic book writer hired to be a supervillain. I love this. I love this. Admittedly, I do feel like taking Donnie Finkelberg and making him a legit evil villain is a little. It takes a little bit of the fun out of it, but I just can't get over the fact that Donnie Finkelberg is mentioned in this book.
It's like kind of a lot of the John Barber profiles in this series are just sort of a treat to read, and Salmon's is no exception. Actually, I just forgot another bit in this profile that I love. Kind of, when Noble learned that there was a traitor within the AMP, Salmon's frankly legitimate frustration caused Noble to erroneously suspect Salmon's.
Yeah.
Oh, and actually, whilst you're on the subject of the John Barber profiles being fun, I have to flip ahead to Storm Shadows.
Oh, yes, please do.
Yeah, because indeed, Storm Shadow operates as a close confidant of X and protected the international criminal when Action Man attacked X. Storm Shadow has stabbed Action Man several times, in fact, creating a hero-nemesis relationship, or a pin-cushion-pin relationship, depending on one's perspective.
Yes. And something you caught that I did not think about was the fact that her weight is given as 320 pounds. Now she's a thin woman, so
she is 5'7", with an athletic build. So presumably she has got so many body mods installed that she literally weighs like twice what you'd otherwise expect her to weigh.
See,
which I just love.
See, what I want to see is if they ever get Storm Shadow gets knocked out or something, and the heroes have to, because they're heroes and they're not going to leave people to die, and so they grab, or even the henchmen in First Strike, they have to grab Storm Shadow, and they're just oh, why is she so heavy?
I don't know how she hasn't managed to just casually shatter kind of Ian's bones whilst fighting him at some point.
Yeah. Well, and now this is just me, but there's also a brief bit where she said they mention her eyes and her hair color, which is one of those things we've never seen. So to me, that's indicating she's somebody. That's a hint. I'm not letting this go. Storm Shadow number 2 is someone. Who is she? I want to know. I need to know. My current guess is that she's Kim Arashikage.
Mm-hmm.
Which, because I know Jinx in the IDW continuity is not affiliated with the Arashikage, right?
No, she is not. No.
So boom. So she can be the other version of Jinx, the one that's the first Storm Shadow's cousin. Boom.
Okay.
Yes.
See, just the other thing I find odd in her profile though is that it just makes the really specific name drop of Sanjay Bharwani's company from as first mentioned in the Bumblebee miniseries. Just Dark Matter Logic, apparently. Some of her body mods are based on dark matter logic technology. It just seems like a really weird name drop.
I mean, it's John Barber profile.
Well, yeah. I just there are a bunch. Surely there are other named kind of companies. Why would you say it's based on stolen Onyx stuff? Or even just why is it iron stuff? I don't know. It's curious, but it's not it could be a clue to her identity unless she's actually only 16 years old and it's Bharwani's kid, but that would make any sense.
Well, I mean, I hope not, because the other thing I wanted to point out was Storm Shadow operates as a close confidant of Dr. X. We know what you really meant, John. Storm Shadow, Dr. X, OTP. I ship them so hard, okay?
I'm just assuming that they're dating.
They're totally
literally
dating.
I forget if I
Dr. X
commented
and her
on this.
ninja girlfriend. I love it.
Yeah, in the podcast, but yeah, just in the backup story in First Strike 1, like, Dr. X's kind of motivation for joining up is joining the kind of villain team is basically, well, I don't really care about this, I don't want to go to Cybertron, but kind of Storm Shadow really wants some body mods off of you, so, like, sure, go on then.
Yeah.
Like, my ninja girlfriend wants, like, your robot arms, so sure, let's go for it.
Yeah, well, that and like the fact that, like, you know, there's even that line in that story where it's like, you know, Storm Shadow's not my ninja, you know, so it's like, so, but it's like, but she's your girl, right? Right? I'm saying, I'm telling you, it's true.
Right, so we're right, flipping forward from Salmon to Scarlet's written. Yeah, Sergeant Savage. Like, I'm glad this Sergeant Savage profile didn't come out before issue 7 of Revolutionaries, like it happened with Atomic Man in issue 6.
Oh yeah,
like, I'm glad I didn't have to avoid reading this to not get all of issue 7 spoiled. There's not. Well, actually, there's a bit of new information. I like the it kind of talks about how Savage, well, furthering just the parallels between Sergeant Savage and Captain America. Like, it is described how kind of the Screaming Eagles are actually formed to be kind of a promotional tool for the US military, basically. Like, Savage became a celebrity soldier and was encouraged to travel around across the US stumping for war bonds, which again is literally like the plot of the first half of the Captain America film.
Yeah, I did love that.
And instead he used his newfound clout to get his squad, the Screaming Eagles, in the most dangerous combat situations in Europe and the Pacific. Yeah, so I just like that. Yeah, it just Sergeant Savage is just unashamedly Captain America.
Yeah, and the fact that with some Nick Fury and some Sergeant Rock influence in there as well.
Yeah.
But I also like the fact that they established that. That Grill, the fact that Grill was in there, did officially in the IDW universe, made that squad the first integrated squad in the United States Armed Forces. Because in World War II, the United States Army was not yet fully integrated.
It's good. Yeah, neat.
Yeah, and the fact that apparently. Grill was still alive and fixed up.
Oh yes, that is. Yeah,
because that's another thing is apparently Sergeant Savage, like when he came like back in the 90s, like had to go and specifically get a World War II plane because the P-40 Warhawk, you know, that like the P-40 Warhawk is one of the few military vehicles that was released in G.I. Joe that is an actual military vehicle. It's like it's an actual thing. It was an actual plane that was used in World War II. So the fact that like that's I like that as someone who is kind of interested in military history and all that because of, you know, my family has been in the military forever. I really dig that.
Yeah, no, I hadn't quite realised that it was kind of a thing that was in the Sergeant Savage toy line until I looked up the Sergeant Savage cartoon episode on YouTube, and it had a commercial because I think it was released on VHS. I think with the toys that episode, and it had kind of a commercial for the toys in the front with just P-40 Warhawk with possibly not historically accurate like Gatling gun kind of action feature on the underside, but
well, they said it was a modified one in the comic, so.
Did Shaz have a trading card? I want to say kind of...
Shaz had a trading card.
Yeah, okay, so that's not entirely new. Bruno Shepard this time Bruno Shepard's robot face is on his right half of his face today.
Yes, yeah, as opposed to the left, which...
Yeah.
That's never drawn consistently. I've given up on expecting it to be.
It was left in the Joe First Strike preview we saw the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah, the way it was originally drawn. So, yeah, I will say this: Bruno was the one character that didn't get his backstory expounded upon in the Origin of Venom story.
Yes, I remember thinking. yeah, this is nice that we get that, because kind of sort of backstory, we got his sort of thing with the rhino that I'm not going to even talk about the thing with the rhino.
Yeah. Which is still dumb. Let's see. We got the Seekers.
Yeah, all three of them, I guess, because they're all that in the alphabet.
Yeah, and like I do want to say, one of the things that unfortunately does arise from having one person doing most of the Transformers profiles, and then because John Barber wrote most of the Transformers profiles, with the exception of Windblade and Starscream, which were written by Margaret Scott, which did result in a slight discrepancy when let's see, what was the
yes, I know you with the statistics.
Let's see.
Yes,
because apparently Starscream weighs 22 tons, while Thundercracker and Skywarp weigh 10 tons. Also, Starscream is 2 feet shorter than Thundercracker and Skywarp. And let's see, let me find Windblade, where are you, Windblade? And Windblade is 8 tons, and her height is 26 feet. So.
Also, here's the thing, actually, that I noticed the other day. Windblade's height has actually been adjusted compared to when that profile was published in Revolution.
Oh, really?
She was previously, I think, like 30 feet or 30-something feet. And so she has been made shorter. Which, if you chart out all of the, if you can list out all of the Transformer heights from this profile series, they really don't make a lot of sense. But Arcee is taller than Blitzwing, according to this profile book, somehow.
Wow, those were both written by John, so
that's a bit odd, yeah.
Yeah, that's a little shame. But yeah, apparently Starscream has some serious weight issues, because despite the fact that his body should be a similar type, to Thundercracker and Skywarp, even if, yes, they do have some individual modifications and such, still, it's like, he's an extra 12 tons?
He stores 12 tons of sort of like beauty product and stuff, accessories. Like he keeps the crown, the cape, the shoulder pads. They all kind of store internally, and it just all adds up. Perhaps.
Sorry, the more I think about it, the more funny it is.
Perhaps he's loaded his kind of his legs with just kind of ballast to give himself more impressive footsteps. It's all possible. It's all possible.
Oh my god! I keep thinking about it, and it's funnier. Oh my god!
I see on the map this issue is the Heliopolis. The dear departed Heliopolis.
The poor time in that regard. Sorry, I'm having to catch my breath. Okay, and lastly, or at least as far as lastly as I want to point out, I want to highlight Spike's. Spike Witwicky gets a profile in here.
Yeah.
And I want to point out, he is from Charlotte, North Carolina. Now I feel like I feel like now I hate him slightly less because now I have a kinship with him because both North Carolina boys.
I don't know. I feel like one should be sort of aghast at having anything in common with idea Witwicky, frankly.
Hey, you know who else is from North Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
Falcon from the G.I. Joe movie. Yeah, why do the worst Joes share my home state. Actually, no, wait. There's one other Joe from. I'm gonna look it up for my home state.
Yeah, there's nothing massively exciting in the way of information in Spike's profile.
Yeah,
he used to go by Stevie, which I can understand why he doesn't go by Stevie anymore.
Yeah.
And actually, the series is rounded out with Cindarr and Zarana, who I wasn't expecting them to get profiles. They've been there. They were there in the first arc of G.I. Joe, but didn't do massives. Didn't do masses, but it's nice that they're there.
Yeah. Although something I was surprised to learn, because I haven't yet reached this point in my Joe reading, they're not Zartan's siblings.
No, yeah, because they're traditionally like a Dreadnought kind of associates, aren't they? And
yeah.
But yeah, no, IDW Zartan he has nothing to do with the Dreadnoughts up until the point at which he just kind of bumps into them and kind of they become friends. And
weird.
Cindarr and Zarana are just kind of existing members of the Dreadnoughts. So no, they nothing to do with Zartan here. But yeah, but I think IDW Zartan, I gather, is reasonably different from other Zartans.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, because he's always been the leader of the Dreadnoks and the founder of the Dreadnoks and the...
Yeah. In this, he's a guy who has his own origin story, and then, will eventually meet the Dreadnoks in... I don't remember when he meets them. Okay. I think he meets them maybe sometime in the sort of Volume 2 era, and then there's a story about them together in Special Missions in the Volume 3 era. I think.
Yes.
Actually, yes, so what were the paper crafts this issue? Because again, the Comixology version was missing them. I need to email Comixology about this again.
Okay, well, the paper crafts were Optimus Prime and Rom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I need to pester Comixology about it, because I do want to make them sometime. And
I do. Yeah, I do need to print out, especially the ROM one, because it comes with a little neutralizer, and it's and this version is clearly IDW ROM. He's got the smoothness in the face and all that. So yeah, but yeah, that's I think that'll just about do it for the source book. So
yeah, let's move on then to G.I. Joe number 8, which it's the penultimate story of this issue of this kind of storyline and of this series. But it's basically continuing under a different name as G.I. Joe Unmasked. And the focus of this issue is the highly anticipated Snake Eyes versus Quick Kick fight, and Quick Kick wins. And I'm so glad.
Yes.
I was dreading that Snake Eyes might win, because IDW Snake Eyes is the worst, and I hate him.
He is.
Ugh.
Yeah.
But Quick Kick wins with a smile on his face and a sort of a quip on his tongue. And yeah, we all love Quick Kick and we all hate Snake Eyes. So I was pleased with the outcome of this issue.
Yeah, that's... it's one of those things where, I went on to his tank after this issue came out.
Oh, God, yeah. I saw that red. Yeah.
Okay, so the G.I. Joe fans were not happy to see Snake Eyes, and granted, I think Aubrey is kind of on our side of this debate, where Snake Eyes is kind of over, he's kind of OP, he's shown to be, OP and kind of a jerk, and I Broadside put it best, where she said, having Quick Kick beat Snake Eyes is the same reason you have to have the Flash be faster than Superman.
Yeah.
You know, because he is the martial arts expert. He should be a better martial artist than even the Ninja. Now the ninja is great, and is skilled, and he knows weapons and everything. But when it comes to hand, I like the fact that we had this contest, and the fact that it's not an easy contest. It's not an easy match. Yeah. No, Quick Kick gets the crap beaten out of him.
Yeah. No, it is a close call. Kind of Quick Kick. Yeah, it's not easy for Quick Kick, but yeah, sort of. Yeah, it's the thing, isn't it? If Snake Eyes can beat Quick Kick in a straight up martial arts fight, what's the point of Quick Kick? Flash versus Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was the outcome that was necessary, and it's an outcome I enjoyed.
Yeah. And I will say this though, I also because in addition to the stuff with Quick Kick and Snake Eyes, which was drawn by I do not Giannis.
Lonnie Giannis, yes.
Yeah.
The regular artist.
Yeah, the regular artist. There were also a few pages done by David LaFuente, and I'll be honest, those pages, I wasn't a huge fan of that. I believe it's the Baroness. It's the Baroness page, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
first couple of pages with kind of the underground teams and those Baroness scenes.
I'm not a fan of when. Sorry.
I know. Yeah, the fight is the main event. The fight is all Milano Giannis, and then basically everything else. So kind of the stuff with the underground team and the stuff with the Baroness is all LaFuente. Except for the last 2 pages of with Duke and stuff.
So I don't know if it was one of those things where I hate to say it. I can't even say that it was like, oh, the issue was going to be late, so they had someone else do these few pages. But it's like, this issue was supposed to come out a few months ago, so it's one of the. I am just someone who does not like, unless it is narratively, unless it's something like Revolutionaries where there is a purpose to it, such as narrative, like a narrative convention or a flashback or something. I don't like when a book will randomly switch artists in the middle.
Yeah, fair enough. Honestly, it didn't bother me that much, and especially with everything with Lovun's colours on it. Kind of like, I mean, it's obviously a different artist, but sort of they're not sort of completely at odds stylistically, and kind of I didn't mind it, honestly. Kind of
I mean, that's the thing. It's not a huge
shoulders.
It's not a huge difference, but to me, it did. I can't say it took me out of the story for a second.
It's understandable. So I completely understand it.
Yeah. But that's the other thing is the other major plot development, and I hate to say it, this is another thing against this book, which is the decompression, is because most of this book is taken up by the fight between Quick Kick and Snake Eyes, and it is a great fight. Do not get me wrong; it's a great fight. We're also just now dealing with the Fatal Fluffy stuff and the Duke and transporting Crystal Ball and the Baroness, and that's only getting like 2 pages dedicated to it. It's the same thing that we mentioned last time when we talked about ROM, which is we have all these different plot threads, and yet they're only getting a few pages to develop. And and I wish this book had a bit tighter focus. As much as I do like the fight between Snake Eyes and Quick Kick, as far as the ongoing narrative, it's still what has mostly been happening throughout this book with the Fatal Fluffies. Just it barely got any development.
It's sort of it continues to be sort of this book's fatal flaw is that it's really decompressed to the point that especially this issue where you got multiple plot threads going on, you don't actually get much of anywhere in terms of plot progression. It's the kind of thing where this will read fine as a trade paperback. Like, as a trade paperback,
definitely.
This will read perfectly well. But reading it month to month, you end up feeling a bit like, kind of, okay, gosh, not a lot happened there, because not a lot did happen there. But yeah, so kind of, this will read fine in a trade, but yeah, just reading it month to month, you're just left feeling a bit like not a lot has happened in each issue, because it hasn't. And it feels kind of mean almost, because like the fight is like you say, it's a fantastic fight. Like, often fight scenes in comics can end up just feeling a bit like a bunch of panels of people doing fight moves, and you don't really get that into it. But I got really into this fight. It was kind of a really good comic book fight, I think.
Oh, definitely.
But it comes at a cost, and the cost is that the plot doesn't really go that much further along. But yeah.
I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoyed this issue as a solo issue, but as a comic, as part of the whole, it's kind of weak. It's more style over substance, and I really hope this is a problem that does not plague G.I. Joe Unmasked, because I'm really excited for that book, because I'm really excited to see what Aubrey does with the characters next and all that. So, but it really is the biggest weakness of this book is the pacing.
But yeah. I mean, I'm not going to end up trade waiting for this book, obviously, because we do this podcast. But if I wasn't doing this podcast, it honestly would be almost tempting to trade wait on this book. It's getting to that point, isn't it? Yeah. And I feel bad saying this, because it's kind of taken over. Overall, it's a really good comic. It's just the decompression makes it kind of plodding to read on a month-by-month basis, especially with all the delays going on. So, yeah.
Here's my problem. I think I figured out my biggest issue with the book is when I'm reading it, I am loving it. But then when I start to think about it and analyze it for this podcast, it kind of, that's when things start to break down,
I don't know, I feel like my experience reading this comic is always I have a fantastic time whilst I'm reading it, but then I get to the end, I'm like, oh, it's already over. But I didn't feel like it was that long. Of course it is, it's still 20 pages, but it's not sort of dense in the way that something like Revolutionaries or even like Lost Light is. And so you end up feeling a bit it ends up feeling a bit light and breezy, even though it is it's a really enjoyable comic to read. You kind of do end up breezing through it and feeling a bit where's the rest? Which, yeah. Like, I look forward to when this when the series is finished, I will probably do a reread through of the whole 9 issues in one go sometime. Yeah. And it will probably be very nicely like that. But in the meantime,
who knows? It might be fun to do like a post-mortem once the 9th issue comes out. And I will say this though, based on that First Strike G.I. Joe tie-up preview, I am excited for what's happening. For issue 9.
Like, on one hand, I'm a bit sad that I got spoiled. Again, we shan't mention spoilers on this show.
Right.
On one hand, I'm a bit sad that I could have found that out within the context of the story. But on the other hand, it's made me really excited for issue 9. So, swing from there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't want to talk about it. I might. All I'll say is that it's such a genius idea. I'm surprised that, to my knowledge, it's never happened before. I mean, granted, my Joe knowledge is very limited, but it seems like such an obvious thing.
Actually, I
don't want to say anymore.
When you get into the Cobra Civil War arc at the start of Volume 2, of the old IDW Joe, that will probably give you some sort of more things to ruminate on the kind of concept about as well, because sort of, it's sort of, the idea is discussed, in fact, in that arc. I'm getting too specific here. Let's continue.
Yes, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Optimus Prime number 10. This. I want to get your thoughts on this, Callum. First, Callum.
I really like this issue, kind of, because what we have. The core of the issue is Alpha Trion tells a story, and which of course IDW Alpha Trion loves just rambling about daft stories about things that happened years ago. And we are again treated to, Alpha Trion has gathered all the main characters around. It's got Optimus, Starscream, and Pyromagna are all there to hear a tale of times past. And it is a story about the 13. Well, it's not technically not a story about all of the 13, because not all of the 13 are in it, but it's a story about some of the 13. Back in... this is pretty much kind of the furthest back we've seen... this is pretty much the furthest back we've seen actual kind of narrative fiction for, almost, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the thing I was gonna say, the guiding hand, but that's.
Well, yeah, I guess kind of, but then that's a legend. We don't know how true it is. This is kind of the first. It
didn't have dialogue balloons.
Yeah, and I suppose technically as well, there is the possibility that some percentage of the information presented in this story is Alpha Trion talking nonsense, which kind of, I think, Alpha Trion admits in the story. But so
I gotta say, I love how Barber does that. This was something we complimented him on back in Salvation, with Trypticon literally narrating the issue and saying, "Or so the legend says," and then it's like. He basically leaves it so it's like, this is what happened, or maybe it didn't. So it's like it's this amazing kind of thing that allows anyone to come in and tweak things, if they want.
I do love IDW Alpha Trion, like the Ironhide miniseries from the ongoing area. That's like probably one of the best things Costa did. That miniseries.
I still haven't.
Really good.
I never read that, honestly.
It's really enjoyable, and it introduces the concept of IDW Alpha Trion being this like ludicrous old man who talks nonsense, deliberately talks cryptic nonsense because it's funny.
Yeah.
So this story is set way back before we'd seen kind of. Previous Galvatron the Barbarian issues had been sort of set during and after the War of the Primes.
Yeah, this is basically Galvatron's origin story.
Yeah,
Wherein we also learn a very interesting tidbit, something that people had predicted a while back, but I was still like, we'll see. But we get to see our first, chronologically, our first look at Arcee. Pre-G-Axis's experiment, and we learned that she and Galvatron were siblings.
Yeah, the twins of Proto-Hex.
Yes. That's the thing, and we pretty much everyone guessed it. Like when they saw the preview pages, and we saw that the twin the twin sword wielding character, and. Yeah, this is, so this sort of gets us and this completely, redefines all of the interactions that we've had with Arcee and Galvatron throughout, Robots in Disguise and, mainly Robots in Disguise, let's face it, you do kind of have to finagle stuff like, Heart of Darkness,
It wouldn't be the only thing in Hearts of Darkness that sort of is ultimately nonsense.
True.
Huge swathes of Hearts of Darkness were rendered nonsense by Chaos, released a few months after it.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
So it's kind of way back. It's before the War of the Primes. It's kind of about how the Primes kind of became the 13 Primes. Because this issue opens with the death of Septimus Prime, who is a Prime, but not kind of one of these.
It's not a true Prime.
There is kind of not. The 13 in IDW are essentially just their 13 people who were kind of leaders, sort of. Yeah. Arguably, sort of. It depends how you define a Prime. Like certainly, sort of.
And I mean, even then, it's like I can't remember if it ever was outright stated, with the IDW 13 that they were like granted the title Prime or anything like by someone else. I honestly can't. I can't remember.
I think they are literally just kind of there's technically nothing special about them.
Yeah, they just took the names. I mean, that was the big thing with Nexus, when Galvatron killed him back in 32, was it?
Yeah, yes.
Something like that.
No, I know.
Or no, 20. It's 27. Maybe. I can't
27.
Remember.
27. The issue. I was like 27's the end of Dark Cybertron. I think it was. No. I want to say 34. I think 34. 33. Okay. Was The World of Tomorrow, the Cybertron one, Sarah Stone art, and I think 34 was the Crucible.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah. But, see, I got you here to correct me on that. And it was really cool just getting to see more of the Primes. We see how Liege Maximo comes in, and evidently, this version of the 13 is a lot more morally ambiguous than their usual counterparts. Because we have Onyx, who's going to be a villain. Liege is a villain. Megatronus is, Megatronus is a villain. And I will say, as someone who grew up on Cybertron, and Cybertron is still has a very special place in my heart, I loved getting to see Vector Prime in this.
Yeah. We all like Vector Prime, don't we?
I wish he was more like Cybertron design, personally, but
kind of. But he's got the circle, but you don't really see it a lot in the art here, do you?
Yeah, but I've accepted that the Covenant of Primus designs are the official designs, So.
But, I will never get used to using Liege Maximo as a name and not because actually, they do. Because here he is Liege Maximo, Monarch of the Forgotten Plains, Killer of Imperator Maximo, and Praetus Maximo. So I guess
So Liege was literally his first name.
That's interesting.
It kind of reminds me of the Ultra Magnus from Animated. What was his name originally? Just Ultra?
Ultra Prime. Well, I guess, very originally it would have been Ultra, I suppose. Yeah. And then Ultra 9.
Someone looked at him and just said, your name is Ultra.
Yeah. Or, I don't know, maybe he was called Ultra something, and then they changed it. Because, I'm sure that aren't there examples of people dropping bits of their names? If Animated Elita 1 had not gotten turned into Black Arachnia and gotten a promotion, I assume she would have been kind of Elita Minor, Elita Major, Elita Prime kind of thing, rather than being Elita 1 Prime. So maybe he was Ultra something.
See, now you've just made me think that Elita 1 is actually kind of a stupid name in retrospect. But anyways, I want to comment on the art of this issue because it is another Remondelli, but it's not bad. This is better. This is on the Remondelli spectrum. This is bad. This is more to the good side of.
It's not as good as Salvation.
Oh no.
Salvation was, I think, some of Livio's best ever interiors.
Yeah, I still think it is a time thing. When Livio has time, he can do amazing stuff. So, which is why something like Salvation, I'm sure.
Yeah, because I forget.
Yeah, because that was a one-shot. It was able to.
Because how was this issue solicited? Was it solicited with 2 artists, or was it just solicited as a genre?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no. This was always planned to have Livio do these.
Okay, so it wasn't a fill-in thing.
Yeah, because I remember at Oak City Comic-Con, John Barber. I was in attendance at one of John. This was when IDW came to North Carolina, and I attended one of John's panels, and he said that there was going to be a Galvatron the Barbarian story with art by Livio Ramondelli. So.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
And that was back in March, so yeah. So yeah. Let's see. We also get accordingly, according to Alpha Trion, we get the first, the appearance of the original 3 Titans that served the guiding hand on Cybertron. We get Metroplex, of course, the first, the main guy. Cella, who was, the Titan of Eucharis, and Metro Titan, who is described as Cella as, quote, its mate. So apparently Metro Titan and the bird were together.
Yeah, why not?
They're gods. I mean,
hey, to judge.
Hey, look at our mythology. I mean, just human mythology. This stuff's already, Zeus was a swan that one time.
Yeah.
So,
I did find it interesting, actually, kind of, the choice of those 3 in particular as sort of being kind of, like, important ones, sort of. It feels slightly arbitrary, but
it is interesting.
I can see kind of what we were kind of. Well, I can see kind of the logic behind it, but yeah, kind of it was like, oh, okay.
See, I see the logic behind Metroplex and Metro Titan.
Yeah.
Shell is the weird one, quite frankly.
That was my logic. Basically, was kind of I see that those 2 kind of the twins, kind of that all kind of makes sense. But then Cella. But I guess potentially kind of it's because of the link through to Onyx Prime and everything. And
which Onyx apparently like fold because we see him like. And I don't know if this is supposed to be him in his beast mode or not, but he folds his head, like his beast head, down over his regular head. But then he still got it down, like when he's shaking hands with Megatronus. So it's like I don't know if that was like can he just do that? Does he just get a bird head, randomly at times? I don't know.
Onyx Prime is Micronus Prime, the first Minicon, Solus Prime, the first female Transformer, and Onyx Prime, the first furry Transformer. Yeah, that's the truth of it. But actually, we are flipping the page from there.
I love you, man.
Speaking of furry Transformers, there are some cameos in this issue, including half of Optimus Primal's head and half of Beast Wars Megatron's head. It's all very interesting, considering Optimus Primal is set to become New Prime in Power of the Primes, which is, as far as we know, is going to be reflected in IDW, and we're going to get a Power of the Primes event, no doubt.
Yeah, and isn't there a Beast Wars Transmetal Megatron's arm?
It is. Yes, that is tail. Absolutely. We're the same thing. He wears on his arm, doesn't he?
Well, I mean, at times it was his arm, at times it was not, unless I'm just really.
I think he can wear it the same as his original form. I think it can kind of go on and off.
I was just trying to think back to the cartoon because I felt like he didn't wear it that much in the cartoon, but maybe I'm grossly misremembering.
I don't, he uses it kind of for reading the golden disc, doesn't he? Has a different thing in the end.
Yeah. So
that's interesting seeing them there, kind of.
Yeah, and we get the talisman in the background.
Oh yeah, talisman cameo makes sense because we knew it used to belong to Onyx Prime.
Which this is going to be like this little cameo of the talisman is going to be like central when Visionaries versus Transformers happens. I guarantee you, because this is going to because this essentially is going to put our timeline for the talisman, especially if they're going with my theory, which is that the talisman did not originate on Cybertron. So it's like,
oh yeah, I feel like at this point, kind of, that's a given. Sort of the talisman is alien to Cybertron.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, and this is one of the weird things about the talisman. I'll be quite honest, is when it was drawn by Guido in the Hearts of Steel Flash, or in the Hearts of Steel and Sergeant Savage flashbacks, it didn't have the little S of Diawraith energy, or Diawraith Biomatter, but it looks like it does here. So one of these is an art error, or maybe both of them isn't. I feel like one of them. I want to know what's going on with the talisman. Okay, I just want to know. Okay,
don't we all?
Is that too much to ask?
Well, I mean, I assume we'll probably get some talisman answers in Revolutionaries 8. We're probably not get told, oh yeah, it belongs to the Visionaries. But I assume we'll find something out about it.
I still think it's going to be one of those things where First Strike is going to end and the Prismosians say, time to get our talisman. I don't know.
Yeah.
It'll end with the Prismosians coming to Cybertron and saying, time to get our talisman back, or something like that.
Yeah. And then just at the very end of this issue it's an amazing gag, and I'm so sad that
before we do that, we also this issue learn that the Autobot symbol is apparently the face of Primus. So that's some neat world building.
The face of Primus. Because one or both of Alpha Trion and Onyx Prime may be lying about it.
Yes, it might be. And I do really like that moment, right at the end of the story, where Alpha Trion is talking with Arcee, and they say something like, and they sort of have their conversation, and I really do want to go back and read RID, knowing this history of Arcee, I want to go back and reread all of the interactions between Galvatron and Arcee and Alpha Trion and all that. But yeah, it was we get a sort of little link through to
where did that Alpha Trion backstory of him travelling with Metroplex first come out? I think it was in Spotlight Orion Pax, I think. But this whole thing
sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, Alpha Trion sort of exploring Cybertron in ancient times with Metroplex. So he ends the issue going off to meet Metroplex for the first time. Oh.
Yeah.
So back in the bookend story, a kind of page turn gag that just... Yeah, I really wish that we hadn't already found out who the Earth delegate was, just so that for a second I could have actually said, oh god, what, really? Because the video call connects with Earth's representative Council of Worlds, and it's Buster! and Starscream and Pyromagna react with shock.
With total anime... What?
We get the sort of streaky background even behind.
Yeah. But no, it's just Marissa. Which, I mean, honestly, I don't feel bad that this, I don't feel like that.
Oh no, yeah. It was actually spoilers. But,
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I don't feel like First Strike spoiled anything in that regard, because I pretty much knew Marissa was going to be the delegate back at gosh, what was it, issue 4 of Optimus Prime. You know, those. I pretty much saw this happening.
But yeah.
Although, if there is going to be 2 delegates, Buster could be the second. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, because lots of the colonies they've got 2. They've got 2, so
yeah. You'd think Earth would actually have to have like a lot more representatives than just one. I hate to say it, but yeah.
But yeah, it's like people say that kind of like One Meets the Eye, that's kind of the funny one, but like John Barber, obviously Revolutionaries and fantastic. John Barber comedy is always excellent. I insist. Like,
see,
even
here you go.
Just even going back to kind of like Robots in Disguise season 1, like Wheeljack in that 16-issue storyline is always great. Just kind of three most important words in the Cybertronian language: Wheeljack, Wheeljack, Wheeljack.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's one of those things where Barber has just shown that he is like a much more versatile writer, quite frankly.
Yeah.
He's just, and I hate to say it, but it's like John. Like that's thing. I like when I started reading, like back with Phase 2, I loved More Than Meets the Eye, but I still liked RID. It's like, but as time has gone on, Barber has shown that he's more versatile. He's able to, he's able to do more than just the typical gags, whereas Roberts is kind of, he's kind of spinning his wheels in some ways, I think.
Yeah, when the next issue of Lost Light comes out, I'm probably going to end up talking for quite a bit, repeating some stuff I've said online and talking for quite a bit about or maybe by the end of Lost Light, I will have had my mind changed. But yeah, I will probably end up talking a fair bit about the route that More Than Meets the Eye / Lost Light has gone down, and so on. But yes, that's a story for another time.
Yes, for our 10th episode.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? 10 episodes.
Yeah.
We have almost reached 10 episodes. I, quite frankly, am shocked that this guy isn't sick of me yet.
And you, yeah.
I mean, let's face it. Like, I shot you a message this morning saying, hey, we have to do it today or, like, tomorrow. And yet you were like, okay, we'll do it. Okay,
so,
let's wrap it. Let's finish things off. Gem and the Holograms.
Yeah.
The Misfits. Infinite.
That songs are better.
Number 2. You interrupted me during the opening. But yes, let's talk about Misfits number 2, Infinite, part 4, whatever. I actually don't have a physical copy of this in front of me, so I'm going to have to recall from memory, because last time I tried to pull up Comixology when we were recording it, messed everything up. So yes, Callum, you start off this discussion. What did you think of this issue?
Good issue, yeah. Like, Infinite is continuing to sort of move along at a nice pace. Kind of, I was slightly concerned after last issue that kind of the last issue kind of, not the last issue of Misfit, the last issue in Infinite felt a bit kind of like, I don't know, kind of, I worried slightly that it felt like the plot was only just getting going, but kind of this issue, kind of things ticked along nicely. It was off with the Misfits somewhere completely different, but we did actually get kind of like plot kind of progression in terms of finding out more about this world, and there was lots of nice character stuff going on as per usual for Gem. There is always lots of kind of fun, kind of cute character stuff going on, and it ends with a dovetail back to them meeting back up the holograms. So clearly, kind of our last 2 issues are going to be sort of straightening the plot out. So I'm cool with that. Yeah, no, good issue, and then good art as always from. I always feel bad that I don't know how to pronounce her surname. But Jensen I don't know, but I adore her art. Misfits is so good. Just like it's the kind of thing where kind of every now and then I consider just setting up a Tumblr just to post like reaction faces from Misfits art. I love it. Yeah.
Honestly, that would be something we should do with our with the podcast Tumblr page, considering that we really don't use that thing as much as we should. Cause
yeah,
it's one of those things.
But,
where
yeah.
if I could access it while still being signed into my own stuff on the app, it would be so much easier. Because I can do that with Twitter, and that makes Twitter so easy. Anyways,
yeah.
Random aside.
You can set up like sub accounts, but you can't do like shared. You can't sign into a second account that's not like a But I like shit.
I thought it was great. Like the one thing I love about this issue, because during the issue we get to see the alternate universe version of Kimber and Stormer, and Stormer apparently has like a robot arm, and I'm always down for robot arms. That's I'm a fan, but we also learn in this universe that what caused the apocalypse basically was Pizzazz, because she found out about the hologram technology and exposed Gem and the holograms, and then not only did it not work because it made them more popular, but then it also created wars over the hologram technology. So I kind of like that the whole and of course when this is all over, like after Kimber and Stormer tell the history of their the what happened, the thing that changed in their universe, and then Pizzazz is like, this is all Gem and the hologram's fault. It's like, Pizzazz, really. It's like, it's such a Pizzazz thing to do.
It's why we love her. It's why we love her.
But it's like, it's also one of those things where it's like, oh my god, you petty person. That is like, but like, I gotta say, that's actually an interesting kind of thing, and I like that Pizzazz doesn't immediately. I like the fact that she doesn't immediately go, oh my god, this is what my hate. It's like, no, it's like she's still as arrogant as ever, but it's like, but she's convinced by her fellow misfits to be like, to not to listen to alternate universe Kimber and Stormer and say, and she begrudgingly is like, fine, when she's told not to spill the secret. And I like that that play on the dynamic. It's very much like, it's the kind of thing in any other story the character would be like, oh, this is what my petty hatred has gotten me. But it's like, no, it's like, she's still petty because she's still Pizzazz, but she begrudgingly does what her other teammates think is for the best. And I like that. I as someone who hasn't read Gem and is really only experiencing these characters for the first time, that's a really good dynamic that I like about the Misfits as a team.
Yeah, it's kind of especially when you get around to reading the Misfits miniseries, which you will, because it's fantastic, I insist. Yeah. But Pizzazz, like, I would say Pizzazz is probably kind of the best character in IDW Gem. She's just great, kind of like, she could have
Well,
she will scream and shout, and she is hilariously petty, but she does also really strongly care and is really protective of her friends, her kind of adopted family of the Misfits, and Pizzazz is great.
Yeah, and because I don't have the issue in front of me, but remind me, like, there was like a part like where like she could hear like the music and like nobody else could. Am I remembering that right? Or or she was like the first to hear
in this issue.
Yeah.
she's the first to kind of notice that the sound of Kimber and Storm are playing. Which actually, flipping back these pages, I do really like the way that because of course in IDW Jam and the holograms, music is represented with kind of swirly stuff floating through the air with lyrics written. And I love the way that kind of the faint music in the distance is represented with the kind of the swirly stuff just sort of like drifting just kind of through the panel. It's kind of it's there, but no attention is called to it. And then they sort of follow then this sort of trail of kind of like a trail of sort of kind of a smell trail from a pie in a cartoon almost. Kind of they follow a trail of music back to where they're playing. I really love the way that in general IDW Gem has sort of represented music in a kind of a silent, static paper medium. It's fantastic the way that it's done. And like this here is a really great example of how it works. Like you can even see like the trail of music in this panel. It kind of goes behind kind of a fabric curtain all the way into the body. I really love the way that it's kind of done as a visual thing.
I'm no doubt. I mean that's definitely one of the things that I love. Like when we first talked about Gem Infinite #1 back however long we did. That was one of the first things I pointed out was, like, I've read a lot of comics in my day, and I've read a lot of comics that try to incorporate music. But it's never handled well unless it's a song that exists in the real world, Like, if it's a real song, then, the lyrics are just printed in word balloons.
Yeah.
But if it's like if it's supposed to be like an original song or something, like, it's just poetry or like words that rhyme, like, but there's no tune. Like your brain cannot form, like, other than just like maybe a generic poetry rhythm. Like there's really no real music to it.
But you don't get
the way
feel.
Yeah, exactly. But the way that the Gem books they incorporate music into the art itself gives you sort of a feel of what this music should, like, you are still free to create the music in your head, but it gives you a feel of, like, is it hard and is it like the Misfits?
You can tell from the way that the music appears, how the music sounds. It's
exactly good. It's the most brilliant thing I've seen to solve this age-old problem of music in comics. It's like it's beautiful, and I think it's one of the most brilliant things about the Gem comics. Quite frankly, it's just genius in its simplicity. We also another thing about this issue is, certainly not all of this goes back to the last issue we talked about, but evidently someone knows that that all the holograms aren't dead, because Kimber.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like that out of the it's a nice reversal of the usual state of affairs, that out of the whole sort of hologram and Misfits cast, it's the lesbian couple that are the only ones that are still alive. It's alternate universe.
Yes, which that was really cool. Getting to see Kimber and Stormer performing their own music, like, together is like that's really cool. But and the thing, and so apparently in this alternate universe the Misfits are dead, like blown up, like they got blown up.
Misfits are all dead. Cover.
Yes, but that's the thing. But clearly, like, if Kimber is out there living in the like I don't remember, was there any dialogue saying that GemCorp thinks I'm dead or something from Kimber, or like, because I don't remember it.
I forget if it's specifically alluded to, but kind of Yeah.
But if not,
yeah, Stormer says, "Oh yeah, I'd only escaped. I only escaped because I'd been with Kimber and the holograms at the time. They helped me escape the city. Actually, no, wait, no. This is Stormer talking about her apparently.
Right. Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
Oh yeah, and then Gem Corp killed the holograms too, replacing them with fakes, literal holograms that they control, and hiding this fact from the world. Only Kimber managed to escape.
Okay. So
yeah.
All right. So evidently, but in the climax of this, I do look forward to that moment where Emmett and I hope this happens. Emmett and Kimber get reunited.
Well, that's absolutely happening. Like
that's got.
That can't happen.
That's yeah. We still have to see if the rest of the holograms are really dead, or if Jericho's evil, or what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, my money's still on evil Gem in the cupboard.
Yeah. But overall, this was just another really good issue, and the art is also great on this. Like you said,
yeah.
I think I actually prefer the art on the Misfits side of the books to the art on the Gem side of the books, if we're being quite honest.
Yeah.
They're both good, but I think the Misfits is more I like it better, just a little bit.
I do unabashedly love Jen's Misfits art if they're not. And I just flicking through. I also just want to comment the Pizzazz's outfit from the flashback of how she ruined everything is great. Also, her her sort of pajama onesie. Crossbones.
I got a kick out of that.
Not only is Pizzazz kind of the best character in IDW Gem, she's also the best dressed character in IDW Gem. Every Pizzazz outfit is fantastic.
Yeah.
Actually, also on the same page, I also just want to comment on just the panel of Kimber playing with a hologram cat with a little thing on a string.
Yeah, that was definitely a cute moment. Yeah. I still love Kimber and Stormer. As a couple, they're great. But I don't really have a ton more thoughts.
Yeah.
On.
It's a good issue, isn't it? And I am certainly looking forward to see how all this pans out. Yeah.
Yeah. I do like I like the fact that we do have this sort of split up. I still like the fact that we have this sort of split up stories, but I think I've said that every time we talked about this series. So Gem I'm gonna wait until after Infinite's done because I want to get my whole thing kind of feel of that way I can say this is my thoughts on someone who only has read Gem Infinite and all that. But yeah, I cannot wait to pick up the Gem books after the event is over. So.
Oh, actually, here's one thing I did want to say about this issue. That I do really love the kind of this. With the events of this issue, we are sort of moving things towards basically a status quo where sort of the holograms and the Misfits just have to kind of awkwardly tolerate each other as kind of frenemies, which is it's a very nice place to kind of leave things with the transition into kind of an anthology series coming up, because I think sort of awkwardly tolerating each other as frenemies is sort of a nice state of play to have for people to play with for an anthology book.
Yeah.
Rather than them straight up getting into fights with each other whenever they meet, just these people who sort of hate each other, but also they just have to begrudgingly get along with each other. That's a nice way to have everything, I think.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that'll just about wrap it up for this week. So, Callum, what will we be talking about next time?
We will be talking about First Strike number 3. It's halfway point. Of course, well, yeah, we will reach the halfway point of the crossover at the end of that issue. Then we have got Lost Light 9, which is the second part of the Troja Major two-parter. Spoiler warning, I guess. Lost Light number 9 got released early on iTunes, so there are spoilers for Out in the Wild.
Yes. We chose not to talk about it because it was not officially out, so.
Also, I just can't be bothered to get an Apple account to buy an issue of especially an issue of Lost Light at this point, which, again, I will speak about Lost Light in that episode. But yeah, Clue 4, 4 of 6. It's so weird. I could have sworn it was announced as 5, but yeah, it's 6 issues now. G.I. Joe First Strike, which I'm really, really excited for, having seen the iTunes preview for. Yes. Is that written by Aubrey Citizen, so it's essentially kind of that two-parter is going to be sort of a prelude to G.I. Joe Unmasked, I think, basically.
Yeah, I have so many thoughts on it. Like,
safe podcast.
I know, and I'm going to have so many thoughts like when we see the full book, but.
And Wrath of Kharsa number 5, concluding that miniseries, which I think. Actually, I was going to say there's. Who will still not have their issue that should have come out before First Strike out? Rom won't have done its last one. Joe won't have done its last one. They the
M.A.S.K.
M.A.S.K 10, yeah.
M.A.S.K is one more issue.
Good old IDW and their ongoing shipping problems that just... How long has it been at this point? I mean, it was starting to become a problem, like, before Revolution, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was...
So, like, easily a year.
Yeah. That's the thing, it was... I feel like Rom was one of those that held on very well until, like, March.
Yeah,
March was when it kind of... Ironically, right around the time we started this podcast.
Yeah, I feel like kind of... Yeah, Rom's had some really big gaps.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Kharsa number 5, and that will do us for those. It's 5 issues.
But that brings this episode to a close. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to continue to follow us, you can, as always, listen to more episodes on. For one, allspark.com, our lovely host that hosts our episodes, as well as our discussion thread where you can join us in talking about all the comics that we talked about this week. And, you can also, join the forums, and, we have a great community over there that, is one of the few pro Hasbro Universe communities I can really think of on the internet. Sad to say, but that's why we love the Allspark. It's great. You can also find us on Libsyn.com or HasbroUniverse.Libsyn.com, our Libsyn page where you can find all of our episodes. You can also find us on YouTube, on Google Play, pretty sure that, and of course on iTunes. And if you enjoy the show, please leave us a review on iTunes. That's one of the best ways you can help us. I haven't been reminding people to do that for the last couple episodes, so go do it. Leave a review right now, And of course, you can follow us on social media at our Tumblr, HasbroUniversePodcast.tumblr.com, and our Twitter, where we are most active, which is at HasbroU Podcast. Callum, where can our listeners find more of you on the internet?
Oh gosh, I can be found on Allspark, on Twitter, Tumblr, Transformers Wiki, ITW Hasbro Wiki. I can be found all over the place under my username of Jalaguy, Jala Guy, just like the Bionicle character.
And as always, you can find me pretty much anywhere on the internet, Daniel Adkins. I'm most active on Twitter at Daniel Adkins PRD. I'm active on the Allspark forums, where I like to talk about comics and Transformers, and occasionally I'll pop into a toy thread every now and then, even though I, for the most part, don't really care about toys. You can also, I'm on Tumblr at Daniel Adkins Blog. I have a YouTube channel that I barely update anymore because YouTube's exhausting work. And of course, I am an editor on both TF Wiki and on the IDW Hasbro Wiki. I tend to devote more of my energy to the IDW Hasbro Wiki because, well, let's face it, it needs more attention. So, but yeah, just generally, whenever you see Daniel Adkins talking about comics, it's probably me, and if not, tell me so I can sue that person, because there can only be one Daniel Adkins talking about comics.
Yeah, I'm sure I've talked about this before, but it's nice having like statistically unusual real names. It's so much more convenient. Like, someone wants to add you on Facebook, you never have to sort of like, it's never hard for them. You just tell them your name and they look you up, and you're the only one. Like, when you Google your own name in a moment of vanity, it's always yourself you find. It's like, yeah, it's I mean,
convenient. I'll be honest, I didn't believe Callum Tozer was your real name. Like, when I first started following you on Twitter, I was like, that's got to be a reference to something, right? That's like...
Oh dear. So yeah, I think that about wraps us up for this week.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Take care.
Yeah, bye.